Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, like always, I started live on mute. Um, Andrew and Tyler, what's up? So I was telling you that I found a bat in my basement yesterday, and so that's why I'm recording here outside today. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to see your guys' messages, but let's see. Let's try. And again, guys, this is called the GTA Vice City Disturbing Theories Iceberg Explained. Let's get it. So, Lorik.
Disturbing place in the universe of Grand Theft Auto. It has so many myths, legends, and disturbing facts that it is shocking to see. In this video, I will be going to explain the disturbing theories iceberg of Grand Theft Auto Vice City. These theories and entries in the iceberg are both collected from the World Wide Web and from
Guys,
my
I'm gonna
own
have
assumptions as
to
well.
shut down the microphone.
Ever downloaded a mod that completely wrecked your PC? That's why I use WeMod. I've been using WeMod for a long time so that I don't have to grind in games. WeMod's
There's gonna be a lot of airplanes flying by,
so that they're easier and more fun to play. I can now play some really hard games that I would have never been able to experience.
Apartment 3C is a unique building. Not only you can enter the building, but you also have a unique stunt jump and a set location for a sparrow on top of it for a flying chopper mission. Upon entering the building, you will find a regular room and a bathroom which has bloody marks and a chainsaw stuck in it. This is, of course, a reference to the movie Scarface, since this entire game is pretty much inspired by it. Interestingly, if you actually look at the Grand Theft Auto 6 artwork for Trailer 1, you can see this same building, which does make sense as Grand Theft Auto 6 has been confirmed to have Vice City be a part of its map. However, before the release of Vice City, the players were supposed to kill the previous owner of this apartment by the command of Sonny Forelli and then keep it as their own. But for unknown reason, Rockstar has cut it out of the game. If you get close to the bloodied wall and
GTA Vice City is a fantastic game, but you're not going to believe how much content Rockstar Games cut from the final version that we actually got to play. Today, with the use of mods, we will one by one be adding each feature back to the game to finish with the closest version we can to the original beta version. Firstly, there's a ton of really great weapons removed from the game. One of the weapons can actually be seen here in the opening cutscene, which is an MP5K, which while being visible here is actually never available to find within the world. I've added this one back with mods seen here, but I've also added back a ton of other weapons as well. All of these weapons were also included in the beta version, like the nail gun. There's a taser, an AK-47, there's an AUG, or the AUG depending on how you pronounce it, which is one of the coolest weapons in my opinion. There's also some silenced weapons like this suppressed pistol and this Uzi right here. But my favourite of them all has to go to the Desert Eagle. This is again seen in the cutscene of The Shootist where we meet Phil Cassidy, but then was removed from the game. I don't know why, but using the Desert Eagle or the AUG are probably the coolest two out of all of them. There's also this grenade launcher, which was allegedly supposed to be in the final game, but for some reason it doesn't really work very well, so whether or not it worked this badly when the game was actually in beta or not, and that's why they cut it, but still it would have been a cool weapon if they had have managed to add it into the game. Here's something good that they removed from the game now, because the beta version of Tommy originally looked completely different, and first of all, one of the noticeable differences you might actually spot is the fact that his face looks really unusual here. I mean, come on, he looks like a bit of like a rat here or something. For the sake of today's video, we'll be playing as this version of Tommy for the remainder of today's video, but something else you want to notice is the fact that this version of Tommy also has a darker shirt. This can also be seen throughout various promotional material before the game came out, as you can see on your screen right now. It would appear that quite a lot of the map of Vice City was changed just before release, because as you can see here at the Sunshine Autos vehicle dealership, there's a map here that reveals parts of the map have changed quite drastically. The top of the map is thinner than in the final version of the game. The airport runway and the military base has completely shifted. The bridge that connects the middle of the islands together has a curve in it, and the Hyman Memorial Stadium, one of the coolest locations in the game, initially didn't even exist in the first place. But there's also some other locations that have gone completely unconfirmed, and one of these locations is confirmed by Avery Carrington himself throughout the game. And one of these places that was cut from the final game is called Shady Acres, and what we're going to do now is we're going to quickly listen to Avery Carrington's radio interview, or advert shall we say, where he mentions this place and has some very interesting things to say about it that give us some ideas of what it would have looked like.
I'm Avery Carrington. Shady Acres is an incredible, upscale, state-of-the-art, top-notch condominium development. A short drive out of town on some pristine wetlands, away from the noise and uninvited diversity of the city. And when you buy...
So as we know, in Vice City, Avery Carrington is a property developer, and the area that he's describing here is one that we're not familiar with throughout the entire game, meaning it must have been a location that was cut from the game sometime during development. He says that it's a wetlands that's far away from the city and the bustling noise. It sounds like this would have been a smaller island somewhere on the map that had lots of large condos, mansions, and more countryside kind of things. Sort of the sort of place you would find some of the residents that are a lot richer to reside outside of the city that still need to commute somewhere within. But this isn't the coolest location that Rockstar Games decided to cut from Vice City. And this next location again would have been introduced by Avery Carrington, and as you can see here from this cut mission dialogue right here, he would have sent Tommy to go and pick up a representative of his from an area called the Gator Keys, which as we know now is Rockstar's recreation of the Everglades in real life, and it's a really huge shame that this was removed from the game, and we don't know at what point in development it was removed from the game.
Yeah, so let's go back here 1 second. Where is it? Okay. Yeah, so I think all of these places he's talking about are going to be back in GTA 6.
Now there are some mods that actually add this area back, but it's nothing like what it would have been like in the final game, where it's more swamplands and boggy marshes, and instead the modification only adds some houses and mansions. Have you ever wondered to yourself why the opening cutscene where Ken Rosenberg drops Tommy off to the lawyer's office seems so strange?
So the beta Tommy, he kind of moves like you've seen, right, Andrew? You've seen the mod that they made for the cook, right? What's it, Leo, right? He kind of moves and has like the same kind of body of Leo in this new mod that they made it.
And unusual. Well, it turns out that Rockstar Games removed a lot of that opening cutscene from the final game, which with the thanks of mods and some users who have managed to bring it back, we can now watch what this cutscene would have looked like, but a lot of the audio has been cut.
New characters arriving in Goddess of Victory, Nikke. Let's check out the standing and battle postures of the...
I poked my head out of the gutter for 1 freaking second and fate shovels shit in my face. Go get some sleep.
I'll drop by your office tomorrow and we can start sorting this mess out.
You may now connect the dots and realize why this scene seemed like it was so choppy and didn't really make sense. There's also that mission for Diaz called Supply and Demand, where Tommy and Lance have to get into the speedboat and go and collect some drugs for him. And when you arrive in the speedboat, the screen fades to black, and then instantly you are being chased by enemies shooting at you, while you have to then shoot back at them with an assault rifle while Lance gets the boat back to Diaz's mansion. But what you didn't know is that Rockstar Games cut out a really important cutscene that basically breaks this up nicely and explains why these guys are chasing after you.
That's the last of them. I'm gonna start her up. I think we got some new friends.
I don't really know why Rockstar cut this out of the game. I guess maybe they thought it was irrelevant, but I think this is a lot better than having literally nothing. And let me know if you agree with me down below. There was also a horse betting shop called the Inside Track that you may be familiar with from GTA San Andreas, but thanks to this Vice City beta mod we can add it back to Vice City, where it was initially planned to be in the game before it was in San Andreas. And a fun fact for you guys here is the textures used in San Andreas for this betting shop are actually the same textures as the one from Vice City. That whole feature that we get in GTA San Andreas is all just a ported feature that was initially planned for Vice City. What you'll notice from this pre-release screenshot right here is that not only Tommy Vercetti's shirt is darker, but also the Lamborghini next to him, the Infamous, is a completely different model to what we get in the final game. This is the model that we're used to seeing in Vice City, and now let's compare it to the one that we got in this beta mod, which now reinstates all of the content that's been removed from the game. And as you can see, this version of the Infamous is a lot closer to its real-life counterpart. And something else you'll notice, which you probably noticed earlier in the video, is that the heads-up display and the icons in the top right of the screen are completely different colours as well. Now this is actually the colour scheme for an extremely early version of Vice City, where as you can see the colour palette is completely different. But one thing I do like about this beta version is how some of the weapon icons are a lot more contrast and saturated than what we got in the final game. Something else kind of minor but also quite interesting is how Ken Rosenberg's office has moved location from the beta version. You see, the original location of Ken's office was actually just around the corner of the hotel that we stay in at the start of the game. Speaking of which, by the way, the front doors to the hotel have also changed, where in the beta version you can see that they look a little bit more ugly than the final version. Anyway, that's everything that I thought you guys would actually want to see from this beta version of Vice City, and everything removed.
San Andreas, GTA 4, and Vice City are the most beloved titles in the series. Now, San Andreas I can definitely understand, seeing as how it was such a groundbreaking title back in 2004 and how well it holds up in the modern day. I can agree with GTA 4's fans as well, considering how immaculate its story is and how fun it can be to mess around with its physics. But Vice City? What exactly is so special about it? I mean, at its core, it's just a carbon copy of GTA 3 with a vibrant pink filter over it. So how can this game possibly have such a following that people might put it above, say, GTA 5. Before we really get into things here, let me just say first and foremost that I'm a big fan of Vice City. It's a game that I love to come back to and experience every now and then because it genuinely is a good game in my opinion. I actually just played through it twice recently. Once for DT December, which was kind of rushed, and then again just to experience it properly one more time before making a video on it. But how can I think it's a good game when it's so fundamentally similar to GTA 3, a game that I've made very clear that I dislike? In this video, I'm looking to figure out not just what it is that makes Vice City City so much better than its predecessor, but also how a game with such archaic mechanics can possibly hold up to the point where people might put it on a pedestal higher than its successors. And yes, I do realize that nostalgia plays a heavy role into how people may determine which GTA game is their favorite, which is something that I won't fault anybody for, as I'll be the first to admit that a lot of my love for San Andreas is undeniably nostalgia driven. But even without that nostalgia factor, I firmly believe that Vice City is a great game. So over the next however many minutes this video ends up being, I'm gonna tell you why. First and foremost, let's go over Vice City's badass story. When we first open the game, we're treated to a cutscene focused on the game's main antagonist, Sonny Forelli, who quickly exposits how his role in the story is going to play out. As he foretells, the Forelli family are going to send Tommy Vercetti, a member of the gang who's just finished serving a 15-year sentence, down to Vice City to expand the mob's influence down there. Then, once he's established a foundation for them, the Forellis will pay him a visit to take over his operations. And with that, it's time to put his plan into motion. In the next couple of cutscenes, we see Tommy arrive in Vice City to meet his lawyer, Ken Rosenberg, and they set off to collect some cocaine in exchange for some cash. However, just as he shows the seller the green, an unknown third party ambushes the deal, killing everybody involved except for those who are needed for the plot. Seriously though, thank God Tommy was wearing his bullet-repelling teal shirt that day. Anyway, after Tommy and Rosenberg retreat, our protagonist calls his boss and tells him what happened, informing him that he lost the drugs and the money. After Sonny yells at him through the phone, Tommy assures him that he'll recover everything that was lost and will take revenge on the ambushers. At which point, Sonny's demeanor shifts to that of a calm but threatening tone before ending the call. Tommy then frustratedly throws the phone into the ground as the cutscene ends. And from here on, our protagonist's sole focus is on figuring out who killed who shot up the deal. Through the next few missions, Tommy and Rosenberg get to work at tracking down the ambushers, which leads to us attending a yacht party where we're given brief introductions to various characters who will become relevant later on, including the drug baron Ricardo Diaz. We'll only become familiar with the vast majority of these characters if, or when in many cases, we partake in the side missions involving them. But I really like how this mission has a valid narrative reason for all these characters to congregate into one location in order to foreshadow them to the player. This isn't a mission that spoils any plot points, but it gives us a teaser into Vice City's underworld in such a unique way that I don't think any other GTA game since has been able to pull off such a feat. Nonetheless, following the party, Tommy finds and interrogates this extremely British twat to get a lead on who attacked the deal, only to go overboard and subsequently kill said lead. But it's okay, because while he's busy beating his corpse, this cool and mysterious black 80s man shows up because he's got a common interest with our protagonist. As it turns out, this guy, who will later learn his name Lance, and who will even later learn his name Lance Vance, and who will even later learn has some sick-ass Lance Vance dance moves, he was the brother of the seller who died in the ambush, so he wants revenge too. As well as a new brother presumably, which I can only assume is the reason he gives this violent stranger a gun and lets him drive his expensive car. Anyway, after this mission, Lance drives off into the sunset, disappearing until our protagonist needs him again. Alright, I'm getting a bit hung up on these early missions, and I'm really not trying to make this an hour-long video. So, let's start speedrunning this shit. The Forellis need a job done, and Tommy still works for them, so Tommy does the job. Sonny then calls Tommy to remind him about the money, and then disappears again for a while. Next, we do a few missions for this real estate dude.
I don't know why, but I feel that most of these channels here that have like 1 hour videos about Vice City, they're just milking the clock, right? Like he's just telling the story. The video was called, "Why is Vice City So Beloved?" But yeah. Let's see this one here.
On the trail of cocaine, cash, and hot cars in the drug trade.
Right here, Miami Vice.
The popular impact of the show, huge. Changed the look of television, changed the rhythm of television.
It isn't every day that a work of entertainment changes our world for the better. Sure, we all have our favorite movies, books, comics, and shows that we grew up with, that shaped our tastes and hobbies. Even if the original intention was to sell some ads while killing an hour every Friday night, every so often, a work of entertainment actually improves the lives of the people woven into its story. So it was in 1984. Our eyes were glued to the screen when we witnessed the most stylish show TV had to offer, with fashionable cops, cinematic action, and the meditative experience known as the night drive. Cruising down the highway in a Ferrari Daytona Spider, convertible top down, with only headlights and neon signs to guide you through the darkness, you could feel the sultry Miami air brush against your skin. All the while, the electric sound of Phil Collins' "In the Air Tonight" serenades. This scene from the pilot episode of Miami Vice etched itself into the minds of a generation. Video may have killed the radio star, but the internet left them both in the dust, and it's no secret that television used to be a lot more momentous than it is now. Whether it was the 1969 moon landing, when 500 million souls watched a man take giant steps for mankind for the first time, or in 1981, when gawkers the world over attended Charles and Diana's royal wedding from the comfort of their homes, to say nothing of MASH's Nielsen record-breaking finale in '83. The fleeting nature of live broadcasts and the rarity of reruns meant that in a pre-streaming world, you had to catch these moments live on air, or else miss them forever. Perhaps no other work captures 80s Americana as deftly as the seminal police procedural, Miami Vice. It's both a cultural touchstone and massively influential to movies, television, video games, and fashion that tread in its wake. Even decades later, the mere mention of the words Miami or Vice conjures images of neon-lit clubs, white suits, Italian shoes, and the sobering night drive experience. But it wasn't always so. Before Vice aired, Miami was a sleepy retirement destination with a bad reputation for crime and drug smuggling, hardly the party city it is today. Was this just a flavor of the week hit, or does the show have depth and staying power? Did Miami Vice earn its place in history? In this documentary, we'll take a deep dive into one of the most celebrated and influential franchises of all time, its origins and its long-lasting legacy, both in entertainment, the movies, shows, and video games it would inspire, and in the real world. How one show redefined television and inadvertently helped uplift a troubled South Florida community out from under.
I started All Nation Restoration.
Yeah, man, I'm looking for cool videos, but it seems that they are hard to come by. Let's see if we can find.
So that's how they're growing so fast. They're hiring freelancers.
Hancock.
What?
Hancock.
Hancock? Sound like a bird. Hancock. Flying around. Where you from?
Baltimore.
What?
Baltimore.
Baltimore? Where's that?
Look, it doesn't really matter, all right?
I'm just trying to be friendly, you know?
God, I have enough friends. I don't need another. Especially when I just got off a banana boat.
Banana boat? Hold on, man. You got the wrong guy here. I don't come off no banana boat, okay? You're thinking of someone else, right?
Aren't you part of the Cuban crime wave?
What you talking crazy for? I'm a political refugee here, okay? So take it easy. Don't talk crazy.
So, I didn't know you were so sensitive about your diplomatic status.
Scarface, it's a cult classic, right? And it epitomized the Miami cocaine scene in the 1970s and 80s. But what inspired that iconic movie? A new book called Hotel Scarface, where cocaine cowboys partied and plotted to control Miami, focuses on just that and the Mutiny Hotel. In the 70s and 80s, the Mutiny Hotel was a drug-filled playground where dealers, cops, models, celebrities, pro athletes converged, even politicians, you name it. So joining us now with more on the book and the hotel that inspired the movie is the author himself, Robin Farside. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So this is, I think, when you watch Scarface, in watching that scene right there, you sort of get a little taste, but the book describes, I don't know, the epitome of debauchery. It was just wild, Hotel Mutiny.
It was stranger than fiction,
Yeah.
and that's why I did the crazy thing and committed myself to more than 20 years of writing this non-fiction account of how
the space of one summer in 1980, Miami saw its population surge by about 125,000 people due to the Mariel boat lift. Some Marielitas were relatives of Cubans already here, but there were also undesirables plucked from jails and mental institutions.
They included Fidel Castro's brand of stick it to the Yankees foreign policy meant to create chaos and discredit an already thriving Cuban-American exile community. In our 5-part series, CNN Espanol anchor Mercedes Soler on special assignment with a closer look at the 35-year legacy of Mariel.
When President Jimmy Carter capitulated to Fidel Castro's boast in the summer of 1980 and agreed to grant special immigration parole to as many Cubans as managed to leave the island through the port of Mariel, Miami's destiny was sealed. Within a 6-month period, close to 1,700 U.S. boats crossed the Florida Straits to pick up relatives. What they brought back was a whole lot of trouble.
I think that the real hero in this whole thing, in my opinion, was Merritt Sturheim and the Miami-Dade County government, because they took this on as a responsibility.
This country and the federal government were totally unprepared. Totally. People were landing in boats from Key West to Fort Lauderdale, nobody to greet them, full of refugees, Marielitos, full of criminals. I know the argument is, well, it was only 10%. Well, 10%, whether it was 10, 12, 15, 8, whatever it was too much.
Merritt Stierheim had the foresight to create a processing center right here on the grounds of the Miami-Dade Youth Fair. Many of the Marielitos arrived with no documents, with no personal history to account for their background.
And I said, where's the FBI? Where's the CIA? Where's Customs? No one. No one was there. No feds.
Our part here in Miami was mostly to find them jobs and to help them to get a job. The city of Miami, the Dade County government were very, very involved and supportive of that integration process.
And most did, like Dr. Jose Garcia, whom we met yesterday. He now teaches Hispanic literature and Latin American studies at Florida Southern College. Originally, his family settled in Washington Heights, New York, where his father became a successful salesman with Goya Foods. He recently returned to Cuba and produced the documentary Voices from Mariel. He hopes to one day help move that country toward a better future, though it's impossible to change the future without understanding the past.
The people that left in 1980 were born, grew up with it, and decided this was not for them.
On special assignment, I'm Mercedes Soler, Local 10 News.
And as Mercedes said there, it is impossible to change the future without understanding the past. Tomorrow, why the media declared Miami a paradise lost.
And I teamed up with a bunch of Cubans that came in '79, the Mariel boat lift. And you went over there every day, and I had to buy the old guy, the guy that ran the corner, I had to buy him a little bottle of rum, a half pint, and he would let you operate your game, whatever your game was, selling weed.
Okay, guys, the battery of my phone here on my laptop is going to be over soon, so I'm going to just end the stream. I was just testing again because since I found a bat in my basement, and I'm not going to be doing stuff from there anymore. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you, Andrew, for being here. I will be back maybe later today playing something, who knows. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Also hit the thumbs up, and I see you guys soon. Okay, peace out, man.